Men and women have different psychological needs, desires, and responses when it comes to relationships, and these differences play a significant role in how each gender navigates intimacy and emotional connections. While these distinctions are generalizations, they provide insight into some of the fundamental differences observed in many heterosexual relationships. One of the key psychological differences between men and women in relationships is their emotional needs. Women tend to prioritize emotional closeness and connection in relationships. They often seek validation, empathy, and the sense that their emotional needs are understood and supported by their partner. Men, on the other hand, are generally more focused on companionship and sexual intimacy. While men also value emotional connection, they may express their needs differently, often preferring less verbal expression of emotions and more physical displays of affection. When it comes to sexual intimacy, women are typically more attuned to the emotional context surrounding sex, while men are more focused on the physical aspects. For women, the emotional bond with their partner can enhance their sexual desire and enjoyment, and feeling loved and secure in the relationship is often a prerequisite for sexual satisfaction. Men, in contrast, often experience a more straightforward approach to sex, where physical pleasure and satisfaction are the driving forces. They are often more likely to initiate sex and may not always prioritize emotional connection in the same way that women do. In the context of conflict resolution, men and women also differ in how they handle disagreements. Women tend to be more verbal and open about discussing issues in the relationship. They often seek communication, understanding, and resolution through dialogue. Men, on the other hand, may be more likely to withdraw or become defensive when faced with conflict. They might struggle with expressing their emotions verbally, and may even avoid confrontation altogether in favor of peace or solitude. This difference can sometimes lead to frustration, as women may interpret a man's withdrawal as a lack of interest or care, while men may feel overwhelmed by emotional expression and seek to avoid escalating tension. Another psychological factor that plays a role in relationships is how men and women view commitment. Women tend to value long-term commitment and security in relationships more than men. They are often more likely to invest emotionally and expect a certain level of stability from their partner. Men, while still valuing commitment, may have a different approach to it. They may feel less pressured by the idea of commitment and more focus on personal freedom or maintaining individual space within the relationship. This difference in perspective can sometimes lead to misunderstandings or unmet expectations in romantic partnerships. When it comes to attraction and romantic interest, women are often more selective than men. Evolutionary psychology suggests that women are wired to prioritize stability, resource security, and emotional compatibility when selecting a partner. This means that women are more likely to seek out partners who can provide long-term support and emotional fulfillment. Men, on the other hand, are often driven by physical attraction and tend to seek out partners who are perceived as fertile or sexually appealing. This biological tendency is tied to evolutionary instincts that drive men to seek out a variety of potential partners for reproductive success. Furthermore, the concept of sexual desire also manifests differently in men and women. Men generally experience more spontaneous sexual desire, which means that they may have a greater frequency of thoughts about sex and are often quicker to act on these desires. Women, however, are often described as having more responsive sexual desire, meaning that their sexual interest is more likely to be triggered by the emotional or relational context, rather than by immediate physical desire alone. For many women, the emotional connection, safety, and trust with their partner are key elements in triggering and sustaining sexual desire. Ultimately, these differences highlight the need for understanding and communication in relationships. When both partners recognize and respect their differing psychological needs and desires, it can lead to more fulfilling and balanced relationships. Although these differences are important to note, it's crucial to remember that not all men or women conform to these generalizations. Relationship dynamics are highly individual, and personal experiences, personalities, and cultural factors can all play a significant role in shaping how people engage with their partners. The most important aspect of any relationship is mutual respect, open communication, and a willingness to meet each other's needs, despite the differences that may exist. Building on these foundational differences, it's important to delve deeper into how these unique psychological tendencies can affect communication styles and intimacy dynamics within a relationship. For example, when discussing emotions and vulnerabilities, women are often more comfortable expressing their feelings and seeking emotional support. They may value verbal affirmation and reassurance, using conversation as a way to build intimacy and feel heard. Men, however, are frequently conditioned to be more reserved or private with their emotions, often struggling with expressing vulnerability. This can sometimes create a gap in emotional communication, where women may feel their emotional needs are not being met, and men may feel uncomfortable with the depth of emotional engagement expected. This emotional dynamic also influences how each gender handles moments of stress or tension in the relationship. Women may tend to seek out emotional support during stressful times and feel a stronger sense of connection through the process of sharing their challenges with their partner. Men, conversely, may lean toward problem-solving strategies, often trying to fix the situation rather than engage in emotional dialogue. This can create a sense of disconnect when one partner desires emotional reassurance, while the other is focused on practical solutions. In terms of physical affection, it's also common to see differing needs. Women may associate physical touch, such as cuddling or hand-holding, with emotional closeness, which makes them feel more secure in the relationship. For men, however, physical touch may not always be immediately tied to emotional intimacy. It could be a way to express care, or in some cases, it may primarily be a form of sexual desire. These contrasting motivations for physical affection can sometimes create misunderstandings, as one partner may interpret physical affection as a deeper emotional connection, while the other may view it as something more fleeting or casual. Another significant difference revolves around the perception of fairness and balance within relationships. Women often seek equity in sharing responsibilities, such as household duties, emotional labor, and caregiving roles. For them, a partnership where both parties contribute equally to the emotional and practical aspects of the relationship can foster a sense of security and appreciation. Men, while often desiring fairness, may not always view emotional labor in the same way, sometimes undervaluing the work involved in maintaining emotional harmony within the relationship. This discrepancy can lead to tensions, particularly when one partner feels. In the long run, these psychological and emotional differences in men and women contribute to the rich, multidimensional nature of human relationships. As couples grow together, they learn to adapt and compromise, fostering a deeper sense of understanding and connection. While each partner may bring different needs and expectations to the table, the ability to empathize with one another and communicate openly creates a foundation for mutual respect and satisfaction. Ultimately, the success of any relationship depends not on the gender differences themselves, but on how those differences are navigated. Both partners should embrace the idea that relationships are complex, and differences, whether emotional, sexual, or communicative, are natural. By working together with patience, empathy, and understanding, couples can bridge gaps in their emotional and physical needs, creating a fulfilling, supportive, and lasting partnership. As relationships continue to grow and evolve, it's crucial for partners to continuously reassess their communication styles, emotional needs, and physical boundaries. Over time, individual experiences, personal growth, and external factors like stress or life transitions can influence how each partner relates to the other. Maintaining an open dialogue about changing needs and expectations is key to ensuring that both individuals feel valued, supported, and heard. Another important aspect of maintaining a successful relationship is understanding the concept of compromise. Relationships are not about one partner consistently meeting all of the other's needs, but rather about finding ways to meet each other halfway. Men and women may approach compromise differently, but the underlying goal remains the same: ensuring that both individuals feel fulfilled. For example, While women may place greater emphasis on emotional validation and verbal connection, men may prioritize acts of service or physical affection. Finding ways to meet both emotional and physical needs, even if it requires stepping outside one's comfort zone, helps build a stronger bond. The key is approaching compromise with a sense of empathy and a willingness to understand where the other person is coming from. The role of trust is also paramount in relationships, particularly as men and women navigate their different emotional landscapes. Trust is the cornerstone of emotional safety, which allows both partners to be vulnerable with each other. Women often place a significant emphasis on trust when it comes to the emotional aspects of a relationship, while men may initially associate trust with physical or logistical matters. Over time, as both partners deepen their connection, they learn to trust each other not only with physical concerns, but also with their emotional well-being. This can take time, and it requires both individuals to be patient and intentional about fostering trust in every aspect of the relationship. As couples mature and their relationships progress, they may also face challenges like changes in physical intimacy or shifts in sexual desire. It's common for the frequency or nature of sexual encounters to change over time, influenced by factors such as age, children, work stress, or health issues. In these cases, the ability to navigate these changes with understanding and patience becomes essential. For example, a woman may experience changes in libido due to hormonal shifts, pregnancy, or the demands of motherhood, while a man may encounter age-related changes in sexual function. Understanding that these changes are natural and discussing them openly can alleviate potential stress or frustration, allowing both partners to find new ways to connect sexually. It's also important for both partners to remain receptive to each other's desires and maintain physical affection, even in times when sexual intimacy may not be as frequent. It's also worth noting that a relationship should not be defined solely by traditional gender roles. While understanding the psychological differences between men and women can help build empathy, it's crucial for couples to avoid becoming trapped by societal expectations. Gender stereotypes, such as the notion that men must always be the primary breadwinners or that women should bear the brunt of emotional labor, can create tension and resentment. Relationships thrive when both partners feel empowered to contribute in ways that align with their unique strengths and desires, not just according to gender norms. The more partners work together to support each other in their respective roles, the more resilient and equal the relationship will become. The idea of personal growth in a relationship is also critical. Over time, both partners will undergo changes in their individual lives, such as evolving career goals, new hobbies, or shifts in values. As individuals continue to grow and develop, the relationship must also evolve to accommodate those changes. A partner's willingness to support their significant other's growth, whether that means pursuing new opportunities, changing routines, or exploring new interests, helps keep the relationship dynamic and thriving. The flexibility to adapt to personal growth fosters not only emotional and intellectual compatibility, but also an enduring sense of partnership that is not static. For some couples, seeking outside support can be beneficial as they navigate these complex dynamics. Relationship counseling or therapy can offer valuable tools for improving communication, resolving conflicts, and fostering deeper intimacy. Professional guidance can help both partners understand the underlying emotional needs that may not be readily apparent and develop healthier strategies for connecting. This external support can also help couples become more self-aware and proactive in addressing potential issues before they become major problems. The importance of self-care should not be overlooked either. Maintaining a strong sense of self outside of the relationship is vital for both men and women. When each partner feels fulfilled in their personal lives, whether through friendships, individual hobbies, or personal growth, they are better equipped to contribute positively to the relationship. Encouraging each other's personal independence can help prevent feelings of dependency or resentment and promote a more balanced, healthy partnership. In summary, the key to long-lasting and successful relationships lies in the ongoing effort to understand and honor the differences between men and women, while also acknowledging the shared values that bring them together. Emotional, physical, and sexual intimacy are multifaceted and require both partners to engage with one another authentically and respectfully. By fostering open communication, trust, empathy, and compromise, couples can bridge the gap between their differing needs, strengthening their bond over time. Ultimately, relationships thrive when both partners are committed to mutual growth, understanding, and love, recognizing that differences are not obstacles, but opportunities for deeper connection, that their emotional or practical contributions are not equally acknowledged or appreciated. Sexual preferences and expectations can also vary widely between men and women in relationships. While men may experience more frequent spontaneous desire, women are more likely to have sexual desire triggered by emotional closeness, context, and the overall quality of the relationship. This can lead to different expectations surrounding the frequency of intimacy. Men might expect more frequent sexual engagement and feel frustrated if their partner is less responsive. Women may feel disconnected if they perceive sex as being primarily about physical satisfaction rather than emotional connection. Understanding each other's sexual needs and desires, whether they revolve around frequency, emotional context, or physical touch, is critical to ensuring both partners feel valued and satisfied. Furthermore, societal pressures and cultural conditioning often shape how men and women approach relationships and sex. Men may be socialized to see themselves as providers or protectors, which could influence their need to assert dominance or control in certain situations. On the other hand, women may be conditioned to be caretakers or nurturers, which may shape their expectations of emotional responsibility in a relationship. These traditional roles can sometimes lead to power imbalances or unmet expectations if partners don't actively work to challenge these stereotypes and engage in a more collaborative approach to their relationship. Despite these differences, the most successful relationships tend to be those where both partners are willing to adapt and communicate openly. Awareness of how gender influences emotional and physical needs can help both individuals to meet each other's expectations more effectively. For example, a man who recognizes that his partner may need more verbal affirmations and emotional connection may take the time to express his feelings more openly. Similarly, a woman who understands that her partner may experience sexual desire differently could approach intimacy with more understanding and flexibility, allowing space for his needs while also expressing her own. In conclusion, the psychological differences between men and women in relationships, ranging from emotional connection to physical intimacy, are not set in stone. While general trends exist, every individual and relationship is unique. Mutual respect, empathy, and a willingness to understand each other's different emotional landscapes are essential for fostering a healthy relationship. Both partners need to embrace the idea that emotional and physical intimacy are complex and interconnected, and they should work together to bridge any gaps in understanding. With open communication and effort from both sides, couples can create a relationship dynamic that nurtures both their individual and shared needs, allowing for deeper connection and fulfillment. As relationships evolve, understanding the fluid nature of emotional and physical dynamics becomes crucial. While the differences in how men and women approach relationships, emotional intimacy, and sexual needs often create challenges, these challenges also offer opportunities for growth and deeper connection. Couples who are able to embrace and navigate these differences tend to create stronger and more resilient bonds. One area that can be particularly impactful is the concept of emotional vulnerability. For many men, the expectation of being strong and in control can make it difficult to open up about their feelings. This cultural pressure to suppress emotions can lead to a sense of isolation or disconnection in a relationship. Women, conversely, may feel overwhelmed or frustrated if their partners are not as emotionally forthcoming. For a relationship to thrive, both partners need to create a safe environment where vulnerability is encouraged and supported. This means that men might need to step out of their comfort zones to express emotions more freely, while women can benefit from being patient and providing a non-judgmental space for emotional expression. Building emotional intimacy over time also requires acknowledging the way both partners communicate. As previously mentioned, Women often prioritize verbal communication to express their feelings, while men may lean towards actions or physical gestures to convey affection. This difference can sometimes result in miscommunication, where one partner feels neglected or unheard, while the other may believe they are showing love through actions like helping with tasks or offering physical affection. Developing an understanding of each other's preferred modes of communication can bridge this gap. For example, a woman may learn to appreciate her partner's gestures of care beyond verbal expressions, while a man may recognize the importance of taking the time to engage in emotional conversations with his partner. In terms of sexual dynamics, couples who prioritize mutual satisfaction often do so by focusing not just on frequency or physical pleasure, but also on emotional fulfillment. Open conversations about each partner's desires, preferences, and boundaries can create a stronger sense of trust and intimacy in the bedroom. Men, who often experience a higher drive for spontaneous sexual activity, may need to learn the importance of creating a comfortable emotional atmosphere that encourages their partner's sexual desire. Women, on the other hand, may benefit from recognizing that their partner's desire for physical intimacy doesn't always equate to emotional neglect. It might just be a different way of expressing love. By creating a balance between emotional and physical connection, both partners can experience a more fulfilling and harmonious sexual relationship. Furthermore, personal growth within a relationship can be deeply tied to understanding and addressing the psychological differences between men and women. The traditional gender roles of masculine and feminine expectations are gradually being challenged, allowing couples to create partnerships that transcend these stereotypes. For instance, some men may thrive in roles that were once considered feminine, such as being nurturing or emotionally expressive, while women may find strength in roles traditionally associated with masculinity, like taking the lead in decision-making or asserting their needs. In this context, relationships can evolve into more flexible and dynamic partnerships, where both individuals contribute equally and authentically to the relationship's success. Another important factor in relationship dynamics is the ability to maintain individual identities while fostering a sense of partnership. While emotional connection and intimacy are fundamental to a healthy relationship, so too is the need for personal space and autonomy. In many relationships, men may desire more independence, which could mean spending time on hobbies or personal interests. Women, in contrast, may seek more time together as a couple to strengthen the emotional bond. Finding a balance between togetherness and individual pursuits can help each partner feel respected and valued without compromising their sense of self.